Welcome to Adjusted Reality, a podcast series trusted by the adjusted and brought to you by the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress, where we learn from athletes, celebrities, influencers, and healthcare professionals about how to optimize health in a fun, relatable way. Join me, Dr. Sherry McAllister, as I speak with Dr. Ed Rodgers and his son, Jordan Rodgers, for a special Father's Day edition about creating healthy habits, ensuring success within parenting, lifestyle, and oh, so much more. We're going to have some fun today. Dr. Rodgers graduated from Chico State University with a bachelor's in physical education and exercise and a master's degree in exercise physiology, continuing his education at Western States Chiropractic College, where he graduated in 1997, and then shortly thereafter became a member of the American College of Sports Medicine. He has worked in a variety of health and fitness jobs prior to becoming a chiropractor, including managing health clubs, working in a physical therapy clinic, designing rehab programs for patients, teaching, coaching at community college, and managing a sports medicine clinic. He currently practices in Chico, California, where he has been practicing for 23 years, offering a diverse range of services for his patient. Now on to his fabulous son, Jordan Rodgers. He is quite an athletic background. He was a quarterback at Vanderbilt University from 2010 to 2012 after a 2-year stint at Butte College. In 2012, Jordan became the first quarterback in team history to lead the Commodores to back-to-back postseason bowl appearances. Jordan joined ESPN's SEC network in July 2016 as a studio analyst for college football. In fall 2017, he joined the SEC's Saturday night booth. That franchise that features SEC's network marquee college football games each Saturday, alongside commentator Tom Hart and field analyst Cole Kubelik. In July 2020, he was announced as a cast member of SEC Nation, SEC's network's Saturday football pregame show. Jordan also spent time with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Miami Dolphins during his professional career. He co-hosts CNBC's Cash Pad with his wonderful fiance, Joelle Fletcher. Well, gentlemen, welcome to a Father's Day edition of Adjusted Reality.
Thank you very much.
Quite the long list of accolades you got there,
Yeah.
Pops.
Wow. I need to catch up. What the heck?
Yeah, where are all those framed diplomas? I haven't seen those around.
See, you can jest back and forth, and I absolutely love it because there's no greater love in the world than a parent with their child. And this is why we brought the both of you together today. It's fun, it's light, it's just good stuff. What we're going to talk about first, we're going to bring Dr. Ed Rodgers in, and we want to really get in, since you've raised 3 successful sons in a thriving chiropractic practice. I want to just learn a little bit about how your healthy habits that you've established through parenting, how did they all start? Where did your wellness journey begin? And how did it become more important, as I know you and I have talked, as we get older and we start looking back and thinking about the successful things that we have done in our lives? So kick us off, Dr. Rodgers.
Well, I think I've always been interested in, of course, exercise and nutrition. And I think as our boys grew up, we tried to incorporate lots of good nutritional habits. I think it's important to do it young. And hopefully that carries on to when they're an adult. You never know. But, I don't remember anybody doing soy milk back in the day, when everybody's drinking milk. Of course, now it's maybe not so great for you. I mean, there's other options, but I've always liked some of the alternative health things that were offered, especially early on when the boys were growing up. There's a lot more now for sure, but And of course, we love to keep them active, and we wanted them to at least play some kind of sport if they could every season. Keep them exercising, keep them distracted, keep them away from girls, those kind of things. And so, just kind of keep the guys healthy and active as we can.
You
Well-
succeeded at a few of those.
I was just going to say, there's some of those things that were easier than others, right?
What's interesting, Pops, you bring up a good point. I remember growing up, and obviously didn't know back then just how healthy maybe our lifestyle was compared to others and what we chose to eat. And I remember loving to go to sleepovers because I'd finally get to eat a sugary cereal. And you know what I mean? We got like one a month. I think we were allowed one box of maybe Captain Crunch an entire month for all three of us. So that was gone in, I got half a bowl, maybe being the youngest. So I think now I appreciate so much just the foundation, I think, of the healthy choices through nutrition that you guys it was a lifestyle for you and Mom back then. And you passed that down to us. And I think I didn't know it, or maybe I didn't appreciate it back then. I wanted the sugary cereal as much as I could. But that's something that, looking back, I do appreciate, just those foundational nutritional choices that kind of I carry along with my life today, that I remember growing up, maybe not liking so much back then, but really appreciate now.
Yeah, well, you got to cheat once in a while, right?
Yeah, once a month. It was maybe once every couple months, but got Captain Crunch every now and then.
Right.
Okay, so there is a rule in my house as well. The captain does not come in the house very often. But it is important that we do have the balance in life. Tell us a little bit about your sports career, because I know that you are clearly talented based on the sons that you have raised. Tell us a little bit what you were up to and how that impacted how you spent time with your sons.
Well, they passed me up quite a bit. I tried to dunk on them as much as I could when they were younger, so because I figured they're going to do it to me sooner or later. But
I remember getting you to dunk when I was like 6 years old. That was probably the last time I saw it. But now in my 33-year-old mind, I'm like, dang, Dad was older than I am, and he threw it down.
That's right, Jordan. Remember that. He threw it down. It's good when you start reflecting on how cool your dad is.
I can't do that now.
But I think some of those were 8-foot buckets, though. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I grew up pretty active. I played all the sports. When I was in college, we had a chance to kind of, maybe unlike nowadays, when I think a lot of coaches push kids into one sport and try to play year round. I played everything. Played football, of course, basketball. I wrestled. Didn't play baseball, but kind of did something every season, something different. And so that was pretty cool. And so that was kind of my career in high school. Was all league, all everything. Made all-star team, and kind of probably goofed around too much trying to, at the end of my high school career, again, kind of maybe the rebel part of me didn't really follow up. But I had a lot of scholarship offers, kind of just didn't do it. So I ended up at Chico State. But even Chico State, I only played football, but I did track. I threw the hammer. Did some of those kind of things just to keep active aside from just one sport. So. And so I was 3-time all-conference there. I was a little All-American Division II, and so I had a fun career. And I played a little semi-pro. Played 3 years of semi-pro. We were 2-time national champion when I was there, and so it was fun. I had fun doing that as well, post-college career. So had a lot of fun.
I think the fact that you are so really eclectic in the sports that you chose really probably helped to raise 3 sons that also had the gift of being able to see function and balance. And as you moved through your college and your educational training, was there a moment where you thought, I want to be a chiropractor? Or did that kind of just evolve?
How that evolves. And it's interesting, your first day or first week of chiropractic school, I think the president of the college led one of the classes. I think one time he took a poll, said, how many in here was first chiropractic patient? And probably, 98% raised their hand. And so for me, I had, a fair amount of sports injuries, playing a lot of football and heavy weightlifting. I was into pretty heavy weightlifting when I was playing. And so I remember a chiropractor really helping me out more than anything. I remember people have asked me, patients have asked me over the years, why'd you get into this? And I said,
Mhm.
well, it really helped me, as an athlete, and it really got me over the hump for certain injuries I had. I remember one time I was playing basketball, even a little pickup game, and I came down hard, and it was weird. I lost motor control of one calf. I'll never forget that. It's crazy. I was probably, I don't know, 20 something years old. We are just doing a little pickup game, and it's like, what the heck's going on? So I think that maybe it's the first time I saw a chiropractor, I figured, well, maybe they can help out. And I did, went and they did some decompression on my back, some kind of rudimentary stuff. And I do decompression now because I love what it does, but it helped me kind of recover from that injury. And throughout that period of time when I was playing, it seemed like it really helped get over a lot of little injuries and back and different kind of things that I experienced in sports. So
It is interesting going back and thinking about where would you be if there wasn't chiropractic? And even your son, Jordan, who's with us today, his life would be totally different as well. And I love to think of how we evolve in a wellness journey and kind of bring Jordan in, because now you have a chiropractor. And clearly, I think for Jordan, that's my dad. And I'm wondering, tell us, Jordan, how did having your dad being very fit and really on top of the lifestyle of chiropractic, how did that impact your life in your eyes?
I think it was a huge impact. I mean, kind of twofold. One of my first memories is when we moved to Chico, and I must have been 7 years old. Dad didn't have a full-time practice yet, and he was going door to door and creating a patient base. And I remember being punk little kid, 7, 8 years old, carrying the table, right?
yeah,
So that probably helped get me a little bit stronger going door to door with dad as he's treating patients. So I think on the side of just watching him as a businessman, as I'm growing up, elementary school, junior high, high school, build his practice and his career into what it was and touch so many lives. That's really special for me now as I look back on it. And then on the athletic front, I was undersized my entire career. So I took a beating. I was undersized, but I had the mentality like I can take a hit from anybody. I can run around anybody, never slid. So I was in his office a lot. And I think it was great because even back then in high school, it's either, hey, oh, you got a banged up shoulder or your back's hurting. Well, go see the team doc, who is usually an orthopedic. And there's kind of get surgery or hey, go do some rehab with the school trainers. And that was really your two options. And just knowing, my dad and his athletic background and the holistic approach to chiropractic, that was always where I went. And where I ended up, a lot of my teammates as well would be in his office on game days, game weeks, getting prep, getting worked on, getting muscles rubbed out and activated and getting aligned. And so my entire youth in high school was my dad helping me out and helping my team out. And then also one of my favorite memories ever was I went to junior college where we won a national championship there in Chico. So I was living at home, going to junior college, and every week we'd have as many as the entire team could make the drive from downtown up to our house. And dad would cook a big old tri-tip and we'd feed 50, 60 guys. And then my dad would adjust every single person there. And we would be there till 11, 12 at night because these guys had, it's a junior college with not a ton of funding. And yes, we had a training facility and we had team docs, but not the attention to detail, not the holistic approach that my dad had and that chiropractic brings to the athletic front. So that was always the relationship with chiropractic. It was always something I leaned heavy on to be able to stay on the field, stay healthy through my entire career, and was always kind of recruiting my teammates. Say, hey, I think let me have my dad check you out. I think he can help out with X, Y, and Z. So it was a big influence, definitely from a business standpoint of me now as an adult, not in an athletic career. And then obviously to get my athletic career to where it was, I don't think I would have been able to do that without the millions of adjustments and millions of unbilled hours that I took up in his office.
It's really beautiful to hear that you appreciate it. And the interesting part, having two teenage sons myself, is I think there's an underestimation on the gift that chiropractic brings into their life because they don't know anything different. And now you can look back and you can think, what would have been had I not had the chiropractic lifestyle and where I would be now. Obviously, many would want to ask you, as a child, was there anything that stands out that was positive or negative when you said, my dad is a chiropractor?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think there is a little bit of a negative stereotype, and maybe there was more so growing up. I think because in the sports world, it was always, well, you go see the surgeon, right? And it's a surgeon. They know they're the be all end all, or the team doc. And so anytime as a child or growing up through athletics that you seek kind of an ulterior option, a more holistic option, I think sometimes people would turn their nose up at that and say, "Oh, a chiropractor. I mean, well, is he going to crack your back?" And so there was very much an unknown, I think, or a naivete to people when they heard the term chiropractor and had it associated with athletics. So I was always proud, and anytime anybody that got treated by my dad or knew about chiropractic, they were all on board with the benefits of it. But I think it took some influence, or it took some convincing at times in the athletic world and growing up for people to understand really the benefit of it. If you haven't experienced it, it's very tough to communicate just how beneficial it can be. So I think those were always roadblocks along the way in athletics and growing up, is that people didn't really know exactly what a chiropractor did. Oh, they crack your back? Is that it? No. There's a lot more into it, but I don't think that was common knowledge, in the circle that I was in growing up, and sometimes in athletics as well.
Oh, absolutely. I very much agree. And Dr. Rodgers, I'd love you to chime in, because I know when you started chiropractic, we didn't have a lot of information out there into the public as we do now. And we're really starting to make some significant traction in the last few years, with a lot of celebrities, a lot of professional athletes just stepping up, as we did with the Olympics. We saw 18 Olympic athletes just show their accolades and their pride and their welcoming to be able to say, chiropractic really changed my career. It changed my life. And as Jerry Rice had often said, I extended my career by almost 9 years because I had a chiropractor. When I got bowled over, someone picked me up and put me back together, and that was my chiropractor. So, Dr. Rodgers, what say you in that arena?
I got a couple. Well, I got a funny story or fun story, but I was thinking back. Just some of the fun I had was like when Aaron was at Cal, I used to set up a table, my portable table in an apartment, and all the guys knew, and they all come over because there was no chiropractor there. So I treat all these giant guys. Good thing I've got big hands and a bigger guy, because I, have all these big 290, 300-pound guys on the table, adjusting their neck and back and stuff. So it's fun. But I remember there's a fun story actually. I was at one of Jordan's games. Jordan probably remembers this, and I think it was right after warm-ups. I want to say that coach came up to me in the stands, knew who I was, say, "Hey, there's one of the guys did something to his back. Can you come down to the locker room, help out?" So all right. So I went down and went in the locker room, and I think he had his rib out. I think he was one of the big guards, big 300-pound guard
Yeah.
or whatever. Remember that? And
Yeah.
so, and of course, just to kind of backload a little bit. When I was at chiropractic school, there was one of our instructors. I wish I knew her name, but she was probably in her 70s or 80s teaching the course, and she was awesome. And she was amazing. So one of the things I remember she said, she goes, "As a chiropractor, you need to be able to learn to adjust anywhere." So we'd like take guys under the table, our classmates, we'd adjust them under the table or something, on the floor. And so kind of prepped me for this, because I went in the locker room. Of course, there's no table, there's nothing to, and some of the trainer tables are too high and unwieldy. So, all right, let's check it out. So it definitely seemed like a rib out. So okay, let's get on the floor. And so I remember most of the team was around this, including the coaches and trainers, everybody. It's like, all right, what's this guy going to do? It's pretty fun, because probably even some of the trainers have probably never seen anything like this before. So I did an adjustment. Guy got up, pain was gone, played the game. And I think the guy got up and the trainers go, "What did you do?" It's like, well, adjusted him, So I thought that was a pretty fun story, just to be able to, this feels a kick for me, just be pulled out of the stands, go do that, and then help the kid be able to.
I remember that, being in the locker room looking at like, wait, what are you doing in here?
I love it. There's so many moments that in the chiropractic lifestyle, which means it's not just about an adjustment. And Jordan, you're right, which is why Captain Crunch was not your best friend. But there is the incredible aspect of looking at the body imbalance. And it starts with how you view what healthy is. Because for many, healthy is really I'm symptom free. And that is a strange thing because, well, some would say that is healthy, yet there could be an underlying tumor that's sitting there that really has never shown its symptoms. But the chiropractic lifestyle is really not about symptom free. It's about maximizing the body's ability to perform. And it just happens that professional athletes really maximize that ability. Like they get stronger, more flexible, more mobile, and more balanced. And Jordan, when you look back over your career, and it was a very successful career in football, what would you say if I was to ask maximum benefit that you received? I know it's not an easy question, by the lifestyle of chiropractic.
Maximum benefit, I'd probably say just the overall influence, I think, of our healthy lifestyle was a huge one. How I ate, I continue to eat healthy, and I'm predisposed to that aspect of life and staying active. But just having being a quarterback and playing at a high level, I would not have gotten where I was without my dad's continued ability to help address, like we were just talking about, imbalances, flexibility issues. I had a lot of problems with my throwing shoulder. And so the ability to find the imbalance, it's not always just, oh, well, stretch your shoulder. Well, that doesn't always create the type of mobility you're looking for, or the flexibility or the stability that you need. So that probably the reason I was able to play as long as I did was because of, my dad's ability at a young age to identify some of that and work on strengthening certain areas of my mid back, my posterior chain, and addressing the issues holistically, not just, hey, I'm having some shoulder pain, right here. Whereas you do that in the locker room, they say, okay, throw some ice and stem on it. All right. So I think that really, like you mentioned, Jerry Rice and his chiropractor extending his career, that really extended the runway of, my body being able to last as long as it did through a lot of the injuries that I did have.
Love it. I have to ask you, because it's a burning question, is since you analyze and you really deep-heartedly love football by what you have done in the past, do you see, and Dr. Rodgers will know what I'm about probably to ask, is, do you see visually now what your dad talks about when he talks about balance? Because like when Dr. Rodgers and I sit in the shopping mall, for example, we're not normal. And what I mean by that is we're constantly looking at gait and posture. It's unfair because we can't go back to being who we were. It's once and you look at, I was in the airport yesterday, and this very well built individual was pulling down his luggage from the upper quadrant of the airplane. And all I could think of is, oh, I wonder if he knows how bad his posture is and how low his shoulder was. It's a horrible thing. But do you think that you're better at analyzing the football game because you've had a chiropractor in your life?
I think 100%, understanding the role your core has in your stability, your strength. I just living life on a daily basis. My fiance, all the time, I'll look at her and I'll just say, hey, pull those shoulders down and back. Okay. No, activate your core. Like, just, and she always looks at me like, why are you standing like that? I'm mentally going through my checklist of what I knew my body needed, back when I was playing, and what it still needs on a daily basis now that it's not, athletic performance isn't the number one for me. So yeah, I think I look at a lot of things through the lens of biomechanics, I guess, for lack of a better way, in what I've learned from my dad and through my own practices, and having a chiropractic background into my athletic performance. I definitely see that in players, good and bad. I can tell guys that are doing things the right way, especially when it comes to quarterback. There's a lot of moving parts, and there's a lot of activation, a lot of flexibility, a lot of stability that needs to occur at certain really minimal times through however long it takes to throw, 0.3 seconds or whatever, and that ball comes out. So I think definitely I look at life through a lens of alignment and balance. And I fly probably 100 plus flights a year, and I think about that all the time when people are taking their bags out, what they're doing to their backs, they're bending over, and I mean, it's just like, come on, bend your legs a little bit, use your lower body a little bit there. So 100%, just that lens continues to follow me through every area of my life right now.
Okay, Dr. Rodgers, that's a proud moment for you, and I give you huge kudos, because hearing it from your son's mouth makes it real. It makes the work that you've put in for almost 30 years in building an understanding of the human body and the mechanics, and how it can impact not just professional careers in athletics, but also just the lifestyle that you bring to your family. And I hope that you feel that love that he just shared with you on Father's Day, because it really is what makes fathers proud, is to hear what comes out of our son's mouth. And hopefully, in most cases, it's what we wanted them to actually learn. Any thoughts on that?
No, I'm super proud of him. I mean, he's exceeded. He's an amazing athlete. I brag about him all the time. But he's he's definitely taken so much of this, maybe even more than the other two, to heart. And as far as stuff he does, mechanics, the way his lifestyle of health and eating and exercise, that's pretty amazing. I mean, it's just, he's just really doing great. I'm super proud of him.
And on that front, Pops, I'm 33 now, and a lot of my friend group, and like you said, used to lift heavy back in the day and love that. I still love that. I don't play sports anymore, but I Olympic lift on a weekly basis. I love that. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm not breaking down, and I'm going to extend the runway of my life. But all my friend group and a lot of people my age, and especially guys that have played athletics, won't do it. I can't wait to never squat again. I can't wait till I never have to do a clean again. And it's like, well, when you do things the right way, and when you've been taught the right way to do something, and when you have a background in all the stuff that chiropractic brings to the athletic performance, I still do all that stuff, not as strong as I used to be, but pretty strong. And I stay healthy because those principles has followed me through. And I think it's going to hopefully, help me be able to still lift some weights when I'm 50 and 60 at some point. But like you, that's what I'm trying to do.
There we go. See, that's the greatest compliment you could have right there, is you are still continuing to be the hero that so many fathers are. And you've raised 3 wonderful boys, and now have turned into incredible gentlemen that are changing the world of athleticism. And now, as we see Jordan flourish, so much more. So it is fun. Listen, I'm going to ask both of you to always help our audience and give our listeners some keys. I want both of you to share in what are some of the keys with health and wellness, even through busy seasons. And I know the two of you are incredibly busy, which is why it took me forever to get the two of you on this call. But tell us a little bit about, what would you give our listeners about some of the takeaways that you've had that worked really well for you in the busy seasons while parenting or working or just professional athleticism, that our audience can take away and kind of think about and resonate on?
Age before beauty.
All right. Well, I think maybe a audience takeaway. I mean, obviously we're in a world that's unbelievably stressful, right? It's just, turn on the news, it's crazy. So there's a lot of talk about mental health, and I think a big part of that is keeping super active, because if you're going to go in hiding or sedentary or be ultra cautious about everything, I think it's going the wrong way. I think people need to make sure they stay active, because it helps reduce stress, reduce your cortisol, keep your endorphins up, make you a little happier. And I think we all need a little bit of that as well. We need to have a little more happy juice. And so, that'd be the big thing, is just stay active. And I think a lot of people eat terrible out of stress. I mean, I just kind of think about some of my patients go through, And there's just a lot of unhealthy eating out there. And I think clean up your diet, try to eat healthy, a little cleaner. Again, all that goes towards really overall better function and health, and really and a better outlook on life. And if you do that, everything looks a little better, right? If you get some stress out, your your husband or wife, they all of a sudden they don't look quite as grouchy, or everything looks a little better. Your world looks a little better. Your job seems a little better. So I think physical, mental, emotional health is huge, and there's big. Those are things we can control. A lot of things in life we can't control. So these are things we can't control. We can put in our mouth, what we do on a daily basis, our attitude, getting up in the morning, and our exercise and activity level are things we can control and do our part in this world to try to be a better, healthier, happier person and a better person to other people and around us. So.
Love it. Well said, Dr. Rodgers. On behalf of the chiropractic profession, I think you made us all very proud, because it's all about making the body move. The motion that actually creates, as Albert Einstein once famously said, which is one of the things that I often love bringing up the greats. But, there's simple things in life, and the simple things often lead to the more complex. But he said, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you just keep moving. So well said. Now off to Jordan, because this is the younger generation, and we really do need that perspective all across the board, from our youth to our aging seniors. It's good to have the feedback. So Jordan, what would you say to ensure success in the health and wellness lifestyle?
Yeah, I think there's two things. The first one, really quick, my generation, especially the generation right behind me, as I think my dad mentioned earlier, like everything is on social media. It's on your phone, which is a blessing and a curse. Disconnect. It's something I find a little bit of time every single day to do. And my job is on social media. My job is to share my life as much as possible. But for my own sanity, for my stress levels, as my dad was saying, find time to just disconnect, even if it's 10, 15 minutes a day, to recenter yourself. But the main thing, I was doing a Peloton class the other day, something I like to do. And the instructor was talking about the difference between motivation and discipline. And as an athlete growing up, I always had a fire and a burning motivation. And it was to be great at whatever it was, to be the starting quarterback. Okay, once I did that, I want to win a bowl game. Once I did that, I want to go to the NFL. And there's always a motivation, right, that I had until my athletic career was no longer. And then motivation becomes what? Summer. I want to look better and feel better for summer. I have a wedding coming up. I want to look better for a wedding. I want to get back in shape. We're always searching for motivation. And really, motivation is worthless because it's a feeling. Some days you have it, the motivation, and you get a great workout. You eat well because there's that goal that's right in front of you that you can achieve. And a lot of days that alarm clock goes off. And if the motivation isn't strong enough, or our feeling, we're just not in it, well, we don't achieve what we wanted to for that day, that week, that month, whatever that goal is. So it really hit me, because discipline is what we need. And so when it comes to my busy schedule, discipline is so much more important than motivation. Yes, I still have a lot to be motivated for, but if I'm disciplined on a daily basis, then I can achieve whatever it is. And that means I want to work out every day. Some days the motivation isn't there. Some days I don't feel like I want to, but if I just go do it for 10 minutes instead of the 30 or 45 that I was going to do, there's consistency there. And with consistency comes results. And so I get rid of motivation. To me, it means nothing if I'm not disciplined. So if I'm disciplined on a daily basis as far as what I choose to eat, and again, I'm not talking about perfection, just discipline, making better choices with eating, discipline, getting a workout in. That's my anchor. When I travel all the time, I'll land, it'll be 11 p.m. or I'll have a 4 a.m. flight the next morning. I go get my 15 minutes, 20 minutes, if that's all I have, because that's what centers me. That's what anchors me. So motivation and discipline are two very different things, and you're going to get wildly different results depending on which one you chase. And so I always continue to push people, find what you can do consistently, not the best that you can do, not the most that you can do. Find what you can do consistently and be disciplined in doing that on a daily basis. And whatever it is that you want to achieve, you're going to get that much closer to it.
Wow. See
Well,
that, Dr. Rodgers? You did well on that. See, right out of his mouth. You disciplined your children well. And that really does. Discipline comes before motivation. So Jordan, you did a fantastic job of explaining that. And Dr. Rodgers, I'll give you the last word.
now I was going to say, that's a great way to put it. I'm trying to get in shape for Jordan's wedding too. So I hate mornings, early mornings. But I realized, that's the only time I can ride the Peloton. So I've got myself disciplined. I don't like it, but I force myself to get my workout stuff on and jump on that thing in the morning and, feel good afterwards. So that's what that's what we need to do. We need to move. We need to take care of ourselves any way we can. And I love what he said. It's a great way to put it. If we don't have the discipline, we're in trouble. It's not gonna go well for us. So.
Good job, Rodgers Dream Team. You really motivated me because I travel a lot, and Jordan, I can make every excuse under the moon. Like you just said, you have to get up at 4 a.m. and it's like, I'm not doing it. But you know what? I'm going to do 10 minutes at minimum, because you just said discipline. And when I wake up at 3:50 to get my extra 10 minutes in, Jordan, I'm going to think about the Rodgers Dream Team. How did I get here? Because the Rodgers Dream Team brought me here. So well done, gentlemen. What a celebration of a father and a son. And I want to thank the entire Rodgers family, because you really are changing the world and the influence of so many lives. And I know social media is an impact for so many. And I love that you said disconnect for a bit, and it's okay. The world will still be there when you get back. I want to thank both of you sincerely for sharing this very special moment with us at the foundation. I want to thank you for tuning in to Adjusted Reality as we spoke to Dr. Ed Rodgers and Jordan Rodgers about healthy habits and creating a lifestyle for success. Are you keeping your balance in today's world? Are you looking at a change that you can make that will bring, as Dr. Rodgers said, some happy juice back into it? Can we find the discipline to keep ourselves on track? Well, my friends, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find, and knock, and that door will open unto you. This podcast was brought to you by the Foundation for Chiropractic Progress. As a special gift for listening today, you can visit f4cp.org/health to get a copy of our Mind, Body, and Spirit ebook, which focuses on many ways to optimize your health and the ones you love without the use of drugs or surgery. Now, don't forget to subscribe, share this podcast with family and friends, rate and review. If you're feeling so inspired to learn more about chiropractic or find a doctor of chiropractic near you, you can visit f4cp.org/find-a-doctor. We appreciate your support and look forward to checking in with you again soon.